Welcome to the Allsmith Growth Show, where we're going to explore the dark arts of marketing by diving into weird marketing tests, concepts, and sharing our findings that we've learned along the way, hopefully to equip you with insights and secrets for growing your business. So, my name is Blake Smith. I am a startup founder, exited, and now I own Allsmith Growth, which is a growth marketing agency for startups. And joined with me, I have Alex Bowman.
Hello, I'm Alex. I'm a former startup founder and current product person, and I work with Blake and Allsmith Growth.
Nice.
So today, by the way, before we get started, I just want to note, Blake changed his shirt because he wanted to make it sort of a secret that we were recording 2 episodes back to back, but I am wearing still the same shirt. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I just want you to know that Blake is trying to create an illusion that I wear the same shirt constantly, which is true, but in this case, it's the same day. It's the same day. I felt the need to call you out, and I apologize.
I'm going to win on distribution, though, because we're going to chop this up, and it's going to be on LinkedIn. It's going to be on YouTube.
Don't worry, I can cut that out.
I'm going to win the narrative and send it out. Yep.
All right, so today is going to be a little bit different, and it's funny because in the last episode, we actually talked a bit about the importance of understanding product market fit. But today, the episode's going to be all about product market fit. We're going to talk about who has it, how you know when you have it, because it's so important as a startup founder to get to that magical, mysterious milestone with your product. And oftentimes, a lot of founders really believe that they have it, but they don't.
Yeah, well, because it's helpful to believe that you have it. If you believe you have it, it makes you more confident as you raise money. Yeah. It makes you more confident as you hire other people. And so like this is an instance where self-deception is maybe in some ways even beneficial. It's kind of like it's like Conor McGregor. Did you watch the Conor McGregor documentary?
No.
It was Notorious. Highly recommend. In terms of just seeing the power of positive thinking, the guy's self-talk is so good, where he's just like, I'm going to be number one in the world. I'm going to win this fight. There's no question in my mind I'm going to win this fight. And he essentially manifests his way into becoming, UFC champion.
I have a feeling you're trying to say that as a startup founder, when you're raising money, you're basically looking in the mirror and saying, I have product market fit. I've got a high growth startup.
Exactly. Yes. And this is the problem, which is that there's this weird balance as a founder where you need to maintain some intellectual honesty in order to make a good product. And you need to manifest things that aren't yet as you raise money and enact a vision. And this is, I think, a tension. I think there's always a spectrum of founders who are better at intellectual honesty and therefore suck at fundraising. Yes. Or there are founders who are great at fundraising and make shitty products. That's generally what I see.
Totally agree with you. So, Blake, how would you describe product market fit?
I've heard all the different quotes and that sort of thing. Product market fit, I think, is where there is a market of people who find benefit from your product and are willing to pay you money for your product for the life of whatever you kind of expect. So like if it's a subscription business, it's that they want to keep paying you money to keep using the thing, and they're happy with the deal. They're getting more value than they are paying you. And you're getting more value from them than you paid to acquire them. So essentially it's like a handshake deal where you both feel like you're making a profit. That's the fit that you're looking for.
Did you think that you had it at Cladwell?
Did I think that I had it at Cladwell?
Sorry, I guess I should ask, did you have it at Cladwell? Not did you think that you had it at Cladwell?
I thought about this, and we had customers who used Cladwell for years repeatedly and told us that they loved it. And I think I used that to tell myself, yes, we have product market fit, only with a small niche of people. Zooming out, I think the problem is that we didn't have the ability to accurately acquire those people profitably at scale. And so that's where I'd say mathematically, based on the funnel we had, I remember I did the math of we need to get $1 billion exit in order for our founders or for our investors to be happy. And then I backed out of like, that means this many users, which means this many installs, which means this many clicks, which means this ad spend. And when I backed it out, there weren't enough humans on earth to get what I needed. And I was like, no. So I'd say in that sense, we didn't have product market fit in that we couldn't at scale find those people who felt like they made the deal where they felt like they were getting more value than they were paying me. And so I'd say we were probably in that kind of gray area of on the edge that there was an audience that loved us, but it was really difficult to get them at scale.
I think it's funny you say it that way because that is actually very similar to how I felt about Customatic, my startup. I knew that we had people that were using our product to find the homes that they were buying, and I knew that they loved their experience doing it. The problem that we had was that when I did similar math, we had the ability, I think, long term over multiple efficiency gains, we really understood who our core customer was and our targeting was really good. We just ran out of time. And I think that that's another luxury that a lot of startups don't have is one, time based on how much money you've raised, but then two, having some sort of way to quantify your product market fit and map out how it's going to improve over time. It's hard to visualize that. It's hard to get that analysis done in a way that you can give it to your investor and say, hey, we need X more months to actually gain the efficiencies that we need, both in product market fit and in ad spend, cost per click, cost per acquisition to make this work.
Have you read that article by Brian Balfour of product market channel model fit? It's a 4-part kind of puzzle.
No.
It's a great article. We'll link to it on this. What I liked is he says, hey, product market fit isn't enough. You can find a market that loves your product, but if that market doesn't have a channel that you can profitably get them,
right,
and that channel doesn't match the model that they're going to pay you money so that you can recoup what you used, then you have a broken model. And so I think when you asked me, did I have product market fit? I would say our 4-part puzzle of product market channel model was broken at Cladwell, but did we have product market fit? I would say yes. And the problem is that I would say maybe that's not enough. I would say the first step is if you don't have product market fit, you've got nothing. If you do have product market fit, you now have to figure out channel model fit. And those 4 things in combination, that's how you get a scalable business.
I love that you brought that up because just like in the last episode, we talked about how that basically tees up the conversation around product market fit. That sort of ties back to what we talked about in the last episode around different channels and what to expect running ads in those different channels. You're right. I mean, the conversation we're gonna have today around product market fit, this is gonna determine specifically product market fit. There's the other component of it. That's not everything. No, I mean, you actually have to figure out like, okay, well, now that I have product market fit, how do I actually tell people about this product or have like a repeatable system in place to tell people about this product?
Yes. I will say this, in my experience with Cladwell, we scaled before we had a product market fit. So essentially,
same. Story, I mean, doesn't every tech startup do this?
Maybe. It was this weird. We had this weird experience where we built a website that essentially was a capsule wardrobe builder, and we could acquire customers so cheaply, and they paid us money for 90 days in advance of the software. And so we had profitable unit economics, and we got to, I want to say like $90,000 in MRR just acquiring customers, and they just churned out like crazy after the 90 days. But it was enough that we kind of scaled it through 500 startups and through our first round of funding that we got there. And then we said, great, now we got a round of funding. Now we're going to fix our churn problem, which really our churn problem was a product market fit problem.
Yes, exactly.
And so then we built an entirely new app that was primarily iOS. And what was interesting is that with that, we got people who stuck around and stuck around and stuck around, but we couldn't acquire people profitably there. So it's almost like I traded problems of we had market channel fit, broke it, got product market fit, but we could never get our market channel fit back.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest challenge that we faced at Customatic was that we were really market driven, meaning city driven. So we had product market fit in Cincinnati, but when we went to a city like Chicago, which is vastly different than Cincinnati for a number of ways, we didn't. And we struggled to actually get it there. So if you're making a product that has the, I guess, challenge and or luxury, depending on the way you look at it, of having like a naturally defined segmentation built into it, having a better idea of actually identifying where your core customers are ahead of time before you determine which segments you're going to move into next, I think just puts you on the correct path rather than throwing in hurdles and pitfalls along the way, where we thought Chicago was going to be like, it would accelerate our learnings because we'd be like going into something that's completely different. That was naive. Obviously, what we should have done is look for all the other Cincinnatis in the United States. Of course, nothing is exactly like Cincinnati, but you know what I mean.
Entirely unique.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an interesting, I love that we're bringing up this topic because the interplay between the intellectual honesty and then also the like ability to hire and raise money and stuff like that. I think this is where we get trapped a little bit, which is why I love these external tools like you're going to be talking about with a Superhuman survey, which is great. Let's not trust the founder's judgment, who definitely has an incentive to claim product market fit prematurely. Let's not trust that. Instead, let's use some external benchmark like the product market fit survey.
You mentioned Superhuman, so this feels like a good time to mention. So Superhuman, who builds a product to make it really easy to manage your email inbox, they actually have a really great blog post on this. And this is basically the foundation of the topic we're going to be covering today. We have sort of built a like variation on what Superhuman created to measure and analyze their level of product market fit at different milestones throughout their product's lifetime. And what we've done is we've just sort of standardized it and found ways using ChatGPT to make the process easier. And it's something that we do with every client that we onboard here at Allsmith. And it's something we do on a regular 6-month cadence with them as well.
Yeah, and it's super important, right, as a growth agency that we don't do what I've done in my past, which is don't grow you before you have product market fit. Growth is an accelerator. It'll either accelerate you into the sky or into the ground very quickly. And if you don't have product market fit, it can destroy a company quite quickly.
That's exactly right. And I think before we get into it, really what this comes down to is like there's two benefits to doing something like this. I think the obvious benefit is what you're saying with intellectual honesty. I mean, it actually creates some sort of equation that allows you to spit out a data point that says, do you or don't you have product market fit, which you can then, share more widely if you choose to. But I think for me personally, as a former founder, I would have liked to have had this at Costomatic just to understand, do we have product market fit, and then better understand how to improve our way to getting there. So part of this is not only quantifying it and having the ability to quantify it at different milestones along your product's development, but it also has pieces that will allow you to understand what to really lean into, and then how to improve your product to actually improve your product market fit score in the future. This
is what makes it so much more superior to product, or to the likelihood to share survey. What is that called?
NPS? Promoter Score?
Net Promoter Score. I think Net Promoter Score is actually a very great external measure of how good is your product. But the problem is that it's not actionable. Right. Superhuman says, okay, cool, here's your score. And here's what you can do to beat the game and to improve that score. And that's so much better than just like put on your slide 80% NPS. And, that's more, it's almost a vanity metric in a lot of ways. Cool. All right. So you're going to walk us through the process for Superhuman. Best of luck in this, because I've tried to explain this to so many people. I recommend so many founders that they do this thing. And then obviously I've guided people through it. This is a hard thing to explain, so let's see what you got.
It really is. And I do think that this episode is going to come through as a little bit more of a talking episode than some of our other ones, but we are going to link to the Superhuman blog post. I think that's a really good starting point for folks to read and just understand like the core basis of what we're doing and why. This is going to exist as a guide to how you can run a product market fit survey and an analysis, how we do it at Allsmith. All right, so let's talk about how this works. So let me share my screen. All right, so here at Allsmith, what we do is we start by sending out a survey to the client's customers, and we ask them a few specific questions. So we ask, how would you feel if you could no longer use this product? What type of people would benefit most from using this product? What's the main benefit that you receive from using this product, and how can we improve this product for you?
Sorry, to clarify, the first question is the core question. How would you feel if you no longer use this product? And specifically, you can only answer one of 3 ways. You have to say, I'd be very disappointed, I'd be somewhat disappointed, or I wouldn't be disappointed at all. And that's like the meat of the survey.
And we send this to at least 4,000 customers. The goal here is to get at least 40 survey responses for this to be meaningful. Obviously, that's not going to be statistically significant, but we feel like it's a pretty good guidepost. That's what Superhuman recommends as the number of responses to actually do the analysis. Obviously, the more the better. Low response rates to surveys in any business. If you don't have 4,000, that is okay. Like if you don't have 4,000 customers, that's okay. If you don't have 4,000 responses, we recommend to keep at it until you do. This is just the raw data. Again, helpful, but it doesn't necessarily get you exactly where you need to be without a little bit of analysis. And we're not talking like deep analysis. This isn't something you have to like crack open Tableau for, but you just open up a Google Sheet and you start to finagle it, use a little bit of ChatGPT on top, and then you're off to the races.
Sprinkle a little ChatGPT.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Sprinkle a little bit of AI on top of it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tag your responses in some sort of meaningful way. I recommend doing it 2 different ways. Blake, I don't know if you've done this in the past. I know we actually are having a conversation about this over Slack last week. The 2 ways I like to segment for product market fit is 1, if you've got a paid product, I like to just put in the subscription tier that the customer that responded is paying for. So if you've got a 3-tier product, like you've got a basic, pro, and ultra plan, list that in there. That's a really easy way for you to identify you probably, if you've done a 3-tier product, you have a staggered set of features that you offer. And it's very likely that one is going to have product market fit and one will not. So easy peasy. The other is really interesting. Open ChatGPT, copy all of their responses to what's the main benefit that you receive from using this product, and then ask it to segment your customers into 3 or 4 groups. I mean, I literally typed segment my customers into 3 or 4 groups based on the following responses, pasted them all into ChatGPT, and it did. And I was very impressed by it. So for the example here, the 3 categories that ChatGPT created. So I've already mentioned that we've got the basic and pro plan, which are the customer subscription segmentations. And then we've got analytics focused creators, new and exploring users, and SEO focused creators. Those are the 3 categories that ChatGPT created based on their responses to the main benefit that they receive from using the product. We're not really going to walk you through step by step how to do this analysis. In fact, like this is actually a very pretty version of the one that we share out with clients. Ours is in Google Sheets, and I'm sure you know it's very difficult to actually spit out something that looks this good. What we are going to do is we're going to talk to you about like how we actually do the segmentation, how we get to these numbers, and we'll leave it to you to determine, how do you want to send out the survey to clients? How do you want to do the analysis? I'm sure there's tools that you're more comfortable with than what we typically use here at Allsmith. So here we're looking at the product market fit survey analysis. We have it here segmented out by subscription plan, and we have it by the category that ChatGPT created. So we've highlighted the categories we've highlighted the segments where they have product market fit. We've also highlighted the segments in yellow that there's not product market fit. And Superhuman says product market fit is getting that score of anything 40% or above. So
can we clarify that? Can we zoom up a little bit
Yes.
I guess Superhuman has drawn a line in the sand of, okay, we have a way of determining what is product market fit.
Did they say how they came up with 40%?
No, they didn't. So they just they just named a number and said, okay, cool. We're going to look at that core question, which is how disappointed would you be if you can't use the product anymore? Very disappointed, somewhat disappointed, or not disappointed. And they said, if 40% of your customers who have paid you money say, I'd be very disappointed if you disappeared, you have what they said, I think, is the beginnings of product market fit.
Yep.
And so what I love about that is that it's something clear. And I think they probably looked at companies that had it. And my guess is they probably looked at companies that had product market fit and then did the score and said, oh, cool, that number's over 40%. What I don't love about this is it's incredibly arbitrary. But what's nice about arbitrary
That's not necessarily
scores,
a bad thing when you're like just establishing a milestone and working towards it, though.
And if you do it every 6 months, you can see improving or getting worse, and that's very useful. So the very basic first answer that you're going to look for when you do the survey is, did 40% of all the people that I surveyed, of all of them, was it over 40% said very disappointed? If so, cool, I have product market fit or not. That's kind of like your NPS level, thumbs up, thumbs down.
This is sort of like a simplified NPS.
Yes, and that's cool. That's insightful. That's actually as deep as NPS gets. And then after that, you get verbatim data. Yeah. Now, the exciting part is now what you're doing is like, cool, all right, we got that. Let's get way more interesting, and let's find out across different segments, can I find customers where more people would be very disappointed? And that means that's who I should go and find more of those types of people.
That's exactly right. Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, the great thing about this is like, there's 2 other slides that I have to show here, but like this table alone tells you, here's the customers, or here's your segments of customers that do really like your product and have the early stages of product market fit with, and you can really lean into that. And now you also know, here are the categories of customers that you don't have that with, and you could either choose to continue to work at it, which we will get to, or you can choose to just forego that and choose to really lean into the segments where you have customers that you do have the early stages of product market fit with. Like this slide alone is useful. Like not even getting into the rest of it. The rest of it's like helpful to help you understand how to get to the next step.
I like that it shifts out of this kind of verdict mindset of we just don't have product market fit. And it's like, no, you do, but on a very small group of people. Therefore, you need to go find more of those people.
Yes.
And I just love the
well, it goes back to that channel, the product market channel. What was the last one?
Model.
Product market channel model thing, where finding the right channel to get to your core customer is super important. And using the survey really helps you identify who that core customer is and how to reach them.
So in the Superhuman survey, I remember they kind of did a broad survey and found that they didn't have product market fit. And then they said amongst startup founders, I think there was one other modifier, like startup founders maybe with like a marketing or sales skill set. Whoa, they love Superhuman. It's like 80% of them would be very disappointed. Mm-hmm. And so that's an insight of that's who our customer is. And so it communicates not just how good's my product, but also how good are these different customer segments for my product, which is so useful.
Exactly. So moving on to what do you actually do with this data other than look at it and help identify your core customer? The next phase is equally important because it's going to help you get from where you're at today to if you run this again in 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, how do you make sure that it goes up? Because that's important, right? I mean, the product market fit analysis alone is helpful and insightful, but you want to increase it. So getting to the next phase is the analysis of the raw data that we talked about earlier. So we've already done this like calculation based on that really important first question of how would you feel if you no longer could use the product? Now we want to start doing a deeper analysis on responses that customers had to the questions of what's the main benefit that you receive from using this product and how can we improve this product for you? So the first thing we're going to do is, really the first thing you do is you do some sort of basic analysis on it. And you can use whatever tool you want for this, but you filter the data by your customers that would be very disappointed if they could no longer use your product, the ones that you have the inklings of product market fit with, and you copy all of their responses to the question, what's the main benefit that you receive from using this product? And you go to ChatGPT and you say, can you summarize the following responses, paste all the responses in, hit send, and boom, you've got a list of things that your core customer loves about your product. It really is that simple. I mean, we created a word cloud here for visualization, and I think that helps draw out the really important things that came up frequently. But fundamentally, the ChatGPT analysis of the responses is a list of the things that your customers really love about your product and the things that you should lean into for landing page copy, ad copy, just marketing messaging in general, the features that you should continue to hang your hat on and continue to invest in. These are the things that you really, really do well that your core customer loves about you.
Yes. And I remember hearing from a product standpoint, you should spend, I think, 50% of your time going deeper into the things that your core targets already loves about you. So it's like,
there's so many times you'll have a conversation with a founder and they're just like, okay, well, I need to go and do this and I need to go and do that. And it's like, well, why are you doing that when this is what your core customer loves about you already? You don't need to build that other thing. You need to really hone this thing because this is what people are paying you for.
Yes. And you can just do that better, and as opposed to do the next thing differently. And again, I would love to see the psychological profile of founders. I'm a new thing guy. I love what aren't we doing that we should be doing. The question
I
of
think
how
most
can we
founders are.
Yeah.
It's like the new shiny thing. That's what drew them to found a company in the first place.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes, they didn't just keep doing what they were doing well. They wanted to do something different.
All right. So the other thing that's really important to do here, so the other 50%, I suppose, I actually don't know if that's the answer, Blake, but you want to filter your data by the customers that you had respond that said that they would be somewhat disappointed if they could no longer use your product. And the thing you're going to do here is that you've got these customers who are on the precipice of loving your product, but they're just not quite there yet. And if you can move those customers into the very disappointed category, which again sounds negative, but I assure you those are the best customers for you, then you theoretically are increasing your product market fit score, which increases the chances of you actually having product market fit. So after doing that filtering, you do the exact same thing you just did in ChatGPT, copy all the responses from those customers, paste them in the ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it for you. And now you've got a list of summarized feedback of the things that your customers want to see improved in your product. So if you work on those, and then you're going to move them up to that very disappointing category, which again increases your product market fit score.
Which is so fun to be able to see.
Is that the other
50%? Go up. Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I didn't know if there was going to be like, well, that's 40%, and then there's like a 10% of this other thing.
Sure, I'm sure there's some like technical debt or something like that, right? But like part of it is you're not going after all the people who said somewhat disappointed. It's amongst the people who all the people who said somewhat disappointed, so those meh people, who also are in the
Oh,
subcategory
right. Yes.
of people
Good clarification.
that have a high product market fit. So
Yes.
it's like, in your instance, it's, someone who said, hey, I'm here and I value this benefit the most. And you're like, ooh, that means they're a prime customer for us. But they said they'd only somewhat be disappointed. We need to develop something to kind of move them across. Right. And I just think that's so helpful because this gives a measurable number that your product team can look at on a quarterly or 6-month basis to say, is our product getting broader usage or broader adoption?
Yeah, and your product team is
useful.
really going to love this too because it adds clarity to your product roadmap in a way that oftentimes as an early stage startup, you just don't have. A lot of it comes down to gut feeling or like qualitative research. And while this is still qualitative research, it does dabble and cross the line into quantitative data. And that is going to really, like, to me as a product person, that just solidifies the decisions that you're going to make on what to build next in your product. Now you've got, here are the things that we need to really do well. And then here are the things that if we improve, we can start to pull in even more people and improve the product for them too, and create just something that has better product market fit. That's exciting. And this analysis is not hard.
No. I mean, it's pretty plug and play. When I do this, it feels kind of like wizardry.
I know.
Where it's like, you put these things together and suddenly you get these charts and it says, this is what you should focus on.
Yeah.
And in a world of being a founder where the hardest thing is not knowing what's most important.
Right.
This actually gives you a prioritized list. I love it.
So yeah, just to wrap up, I think for this product market fit analysis, one, your customers with the highest product market scores are your target customers. Like those are your core customers. Really lean into that for messaging, product road mapping. Understand that this segmentation is meaningful and you should use that in any aspect of your business where you need to reach your core customer. Lean into what your customers love about you, especially in your marketing efforts. Again, 50% of your time should be really focused on the things that your customers that really love your product, love about your product, but also use that information to write ad copy, landing page copy, figure out which channels to go after. That is incredibly helpful information because if you tell a prospective customer that is like the customers that love your product about your product in a way that speaks to what they love about your product, then how would that not work?
Yes.
That's a home run. Look for opportunities to improve your product with those meh customers, the customers that are on the borderline. Those suggestions will increase your product market fit score. So that's basically your roadmap. That's the other 50% of your time. Those are the things that if you improve, then you're going to move these customers who are on the fence about how they feel about your product into that, yeah, we love the product category, and increase your product market fit score. And then lastly, it's really important to do this every so often. So we do it every 6 months with all of our clients. We recommend that you do this now. I mean, if you've never done this before, do it now. Like the hardest part of doing this is just sending out a survey and then doing the analysis. It costs you $0. And then afterwards, do it on some sort of regular cadence and then measure the improvement with that same segment of customers over time. So probably wouldn't do it any longer than every 6 months, but it can't hurt you. It can only help you.
I loved I think it was the How I Built This, or maybe it was one of those podcasts talking about that. Reid Hoffman talked about how he did Dungeons and Dragons a lot as a kid. And he said the ability to be like the game master and to create a game where everybody at the table knows.
Dungeon Master,
yes. You must know. To create
what do you mean
a
you
world.
must know? Sorry.
But you're creating a world where everybody has an objective. And they know how to win and how to lose. There are stakes and they can see improvement. He said that is the skill set of being a founder.
Yep.
That's why I think this is such an important tool, where this is a game that you can win just by looking at the score, segmenting it, strategizing, developing new things, and then watching the score go up. That is an addictive thing for your team. And I love that it's a very easy plug and play way to gamify product development. Thank you for sharing this. This has been awesome. If folks have questions, I know this is a lot of kind of technical stuff. Feel free to post them either in YouTube or in LinkedIn. Ask us questions. We'll respond right away. Yeah. Also feel free to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify. You can go to allsmith.org and get it emailed straight to you. We also do all the show notes so you can kind of hop around from spot to spot, skip over the long-winded story that Blake told or too long in the middle of the episode, get to the meat of it where Alex was talking, that type of thing. Next episode comes out in a month. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.